Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. This is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject. It's quick, it's snappy. At the end of the 5 minutes, we move on and we do it all again. 5x5 is always one of the most popular videos on the channel. So this week, we're going back to what we've been doing the last few weeks. We're going to start off with a live performance. So you're going to get to see a live performance of me performing in the real world. And then once you've seen the live performance, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do in the next section a commentary track over the top, so you can see kind of my thought process behind what I was doing, why I was doing it, as well as all of that. There's a load of other stuff coming up on this week's 5x5. It's jam-packed. So here we go. Without further ado, let's have a look at this week's 5x5. Nobody ever trusts me. I really appreciate that. That's nice. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Hey. Let me talk. Right. I'm going to do something with the 4 kings, with the 2 red kings, okay? I'm going to leave them on top of the deck, and you can pick any card you want to, but you can't pick one of the 2 red kings. So I'm going to leave them on top. I'm going to riffle down the deck. You're going to say stop, and I'll show you and everyone else the card, okay? So just say stop. Do you remember that card? That's the card. Can everyone see it? Really important you remember it, because later on when I dramatically say this is your card, if you go, I don't know, it's not so good. So I know that your card's not a red king, right? I'm going to try and find your card in 1 second. Would that be good? Look, if I take the red kings and just wave them over the pack, what happens is 1 card appears in between them, and 1 card, and that's the 2 of spades. Is that your card? Yeah. Now, the first time I saw that, I forgot to applaud as well, so don't worry about it. No, please hold your applause. I got a weak finish. I'll do it again. I'm going to put the kings face up at the top and the bottom of the deck, okay? And you're going to take your card and put it face down in the middle anytime you want to say stop. Cool. Put the card back there. And just so you guys know I'm not cheating, do you see the card there? Yeah. It goes, well, you put that about halfway down, would you agree? Can you push it in for me yourself? So you see that card going into the middle, is that fair? Yeah. We see the king on the top, the king on the bottom. We know your card's somewhere in the middle. Watch this, if I just do that, 1 card appears in between. I mean, this is getting weird now. Now, I'm going to do this one last time, but in slow motion. I'm going to put a king on the top, king on the bottom. Do me a favour, just say stop. Stop. Cool. Can you put your card right back there for me on that right there? So that card goes right there. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. So we've got a king on the top, we've got a king on the bottom, and we've got your card in the middle. Now watch, we're going to do this in slow motion. If I take the pack and twist, did you see the king disappear off the top and the king disappear off the bottom? The reason it did is because they're travelling down into the deck. You see the one king's gone down slightly, the other king's gone up slightly. They're actually eliminating cards until they find your card. This is what I mean about going in slow motion. Look, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. There's about 20 cards in between. Do you see them? If I do this, they disappear off the top, they disappear off the bottom. 1 card appears in between them, 1 card only. It can't be. Could it be? If it was, this would be a miracle. There it is.
Wow.
Okay, so this routine is called Deadlier Than the Male by Jeff Latter, and I'm performing it at Russ Brown's House of Secrets, which is a fantastic magic venue in Blackpool. If you've never actually been there, you should do. I wasn't actually booked to perform there. I was there to watch Jasper Cherry, and we went with my family, and I got roped into doing a few card tricks, which is why my daughter Thea comes over and gives me a hug in the middle of the card trick. Now, you wouldn't normally get that when you're performing, having your daughter come and give you a hug, but it happened in this situation. But back to the trick. So I tend to find that when you're doing a routine that's got multiple phases where each phase builds, especially something like a sandwich routine, you want to be very clear right from the offset about what's happening. Now, notice I'm doing a covered side steal here. And notice when I do the actual move, I look at them directly in the eyes. It's very important when you're doing anything that's angly that you're aware of your angles at all times. You know where the people are. And I actually sat in this position so that I knew there was nobody near me on the left, because left is the bad angle with a lot of the routines like this. So as long as you're managing angles when you're choosing somewhere to perform, that works really well. So they understand what's happening now. That's the first phase. Each phase has to build in a routine, like I said, with that. So the first phase is you have the card appear. Fantastic. The second phase is, now this is a convincing control. Notice with the convincing control, I show everyone the card and then I come down and up jog it.
And it's a mistake that I see a lot of people making with the convincing control. A lot of the time, they take it and put it back and they don't show it again, but you really kind of need to. And then you've got that second revelation, which is perfect. I mean, if you haven't learned Deadlier than Male, you really should do. The final phase is the slow motion capture of a playing card. And this is, to be honest, the main reason why I do this routine, because it's absolutely fantastic. And it involves two passes. Now, when Jeff originally wrote this up, he used a classic pass. I actually prefer to use the Midnight Shift by Steve Drawn. Now, notice when I'm about to do the pass, I come up here like this. I body turn to the left. It's very important, again, if there's one thing that you learn from watching this video, it's very important to be aware of your angles. And that's one of the reasons I use the Midnight Shift and not the classic pass. When you're sitting down, I tend to find that the Midnight Shift actually is better from an angles point of view. But just moving slightly to the left makes it completely angle proof to everybody on the entire table, the people opposite me, the spectator who's helping me. It makes it completely angle proof. So don't be afraid to body turn or move slightly in order to do that sort of thing. I think that if you do that, it really kind of helps. What you don't want to do, well, there's 2 points really when it comes to angles. The first point is make sure that you're aware where the people are sitting and make sure that you're positioning yourself so that there are no bad angles. But secondly, and this is something that James Brown talks about all the time, the best time to do a slice is when they're not looking. The best time to do a slice is when they're not looking. So you misdirect away from them. Like with the covered side steal, I show them the card, I look directly in their eyes, and at that point, that's when I do the covered side steal. It's the same with the convincing control. You show the card, you look up, and that's when you do the move. Now, that's not the case with the classic, not with the classic pass. That's not the case with the Midnight Shift. Because with the Midnight Shift, the focus is being put on the cards. You're using it not as a control, but you're using it as a vanish of a playing card. So you don't have that luxury. And so it's really important that the technique and the angles are correct when you're doing something like vanishing a card with a pass, because you are drawing attention to the card. You are drawing attention to the pass. And so you have to make sure it's perfect. But anyway, there you go. It's a fantastic routine. If you haven't already learned it, you really should do. I did a hidden gems on it recently. It's called Deadlier Than Male. You can learn it from Spectacle by Stephen Minch, which is now available as an ebook. Okay, guys, I want to draw your attention to something called the ASolver app, which is an app I've only just recently become aware of, but it's really cool. It's not really too much use for me, but it is something that's really cool if you're wanting to get into cube magic. Now, I've said on this channel before, in Q&As and various different videos, that if you're going to get into cube magic with gimmicked cubes, the best thing to do is learn to solve a Rubik's Cube, first of all, because as you're practicing, what will happen is you'll accidentally mix the cube up, and then the only way to solve it is to learn to solve the cube, so you may as well go through that pain first of all. And I still believe that. I absolutely still believe that. I mean, the reason that I got into cube magic is because I bought Rubicon by Greg Wilson. I was practicing it, accidentally mixed it up, and then had to learn to solve the cube in order to carry on learning Rubicon, which ironically, I don't even perform anymore. But the point is, there's another way now. There's another way. There's an app that I've recently downloaded called ASolver. And what it does is it solves any cube, no matter how mixed it up it is. You just scan all 6 sides of the Rubik's Cube. Once you've scanned all 6 sides of the Rubik's Cube, you literally just hit play and you follow the moves that the app tells you to do. And it solves the cube, and it does it in a much quicker way than it would do if you were trying to use the beginner method or F2L or OOL or PLL or any of those algorithms. It solves it in a much quicker way, because a lot of people don't realize that with a Rubik's Cube, the maximum amount of turns that you need to turn to solve it is 20, and so this app knows the quickest possible way to solve any cube in any mixed position. So now you don't have to solve a cube in order to learn all these wonderful gimmicked routines. Let's say you want to learn Venom Cube. Well, the simple way to do it is just to learn Venom Cube, and as you're practicing, if you accidentally mess it up, it's not a problem. Bring out ASolver, and you can just literally scan the cube in and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do to solve it as quickly as possible. So there you go. I know a lot of people don't want to solve a cube, and it's what puts them off from learning cube magic, because they don't want to worry about solving a cube. So this is something that you can do that allows you to solve a cube without having to learn how to solve a cube. I will still say, in my opinion, the best thing to do is to learn to solve a cube, but still, this is pretty cool. So I'm going to give you an actual demonstration of the app right now. I'm going to take a cube that I've completely mixed up, and I'll actually show you the app in action so you can see how quick it is to solve a mixed up cube. So let me show you how this is going to work. So you can see let me put the brightness down on the phone a little bit so you can see. Does that look good, Chuck?
Yeah, man.
It's called ASolver right there. So you just search the ASolver app. Now you can solve any Rubik's Cube in any orientation. So you can do 2x2s, 3x3s, different patterns on a 3x3, 4x4s, 5x5s, all the way up to 6x6s, you know, a whole bunch of different things. Let's use a 3x3. So what you do is you have this cube that's mixed, and I've mixed this up earlier on. And then what you do is it's going to scan each side of the cube. So you hold the cube like this, and you can see it's picking up the colors. And what you want to do, let me just get it right here. So you want to get the colors. When it's got the colors correct, there you go. You hit done, and then you rotate it like it shows. Make sure your thumb's not in the way. Hit done again. Move it across like this, just like it wants you to do. Hit done again. Move it across like this. Hit done. Move it across like this. Hit done. Make sure your thumb's not in the way so you can clearly see the cube. Oh, there you go, hit done. Right, now what it does is it then works out the shortest amount of moves it needs in order to solve the cube. So you just make sure it's orientated the correct way, which it should be. This here, you can have it go faster or slower. You can just follow the pictures, or if you hit play, watch this. So it's gonna show me exactly what to do to solve this cube. So first of all, I'm gonna do that. Then I'm going to do that, and you can speed this up if you want to. You can have it really fast or really slow. It's totally up to you. You do this. You do this. Do this at the bottom.
This is cool.
It's great, isn't it, Jeff? It's really awesome. And it tells you the quickest way to solve this cube. So there we go. Now we do the back one over here. That over here. Another one at the back. Up here. It normally takes less time than that. I must have given this a really good mix up. There you go. Another one of those. Another one of those. Another one. Down there like that. Almost done. And you're literally just following the moves. That's all you're having to do.
What?
And there it is. You've solved the cube.
Cool.
Okay, guys, I want to give you a sneak peek of an interview that's coming soon. So this Saturday on Magic TV, I've got an interview with Michael Eaton. Now, Michael Eaton is an incredible... If you've been watching some of the videos Michael's been putting up recently on social media, he's one of the best performers that I've ever seen. Like, his sleight of hand is amazing. The way he interacts with audiences is just brilliant. But Michael's been on the scene for a long time. He's lectured, he's created and released products, he's had a Penguin Live, he's one of the most knowledgeable people that I know when it comes to restaurant work, and his tracking system is literally revolutionary to anyone that works in restaurants. But as well as that, he has an incredible mind for business, design, and digital marketing, and he helps a lot of other magicians improve their digital marketing as well. I'm really happy that I managed to get him to do an interview. It's coming this Saturday on Magic TV, and here's a bit of a sneak peek of what you can expect when the interview drops.
So the support basically is the most important thing, because a lot of guys don't have the support from their families. So like my sisters never believed that I could actually make a living doing magic, but they didn't realize, they were like, can't you just get a real job? But they didn't realize is that the beginning part of the day up until the night, that was my job. It was, you know, I'm like, what do you think, the magic, the gigs just appear, you know, like by magic? No, that's, I'm on the phone, I'm on the computer, you know, I'm doing emails, I'm sending out proposals. Like, that is my job. The magic is the reward, you know? I said, so what I'm doing during the day, when you want me to have a real job, that's where I'm doing all my business administrative stuff, like at home. And the gig is what happens the last 2 or 3 hours at the end of every day. That's the payoff. So this is where my work is at, and this is where the payoff is at. And so they just looked at it like, these gigs just appeared, and that's completely 180 degrees from the truth. It's not even near the truth. And that's what they don't realize. And I think that it's important that the spouses, the family people, they understand, like, this is a business. You register your business, you have a tax ID number, you have this, you have everything in place. You are viewed as a business, so that's the first thing that you have to let them know, is that, I'm actually creating a business out of this. This isn't just for fun. This is going to pay our bills or a mortgage. We're going to, put a certain amount of this aside to have for retirement and all this other stuff, so they don't look at that. And I think more magicians need to have those discussions with their families and their spouses about, if they're going to make the decision to go into a full-time position doing entertainment, that the transparency issue has to be there. They have to open up and say, okay, let me get your feedback on, what do you think about me going full-time? And then just have that conversation, and be ready just to listen to what they say, because the more you can overcome with objections, the more you can educate those people and let them know, like, this is totally possible, and here's my business plan, and I don't think a lot of guys even have that. They don't even have like a 2-year, a 5-year plan, like, what's their exit strategy? What's your goals? Who's your niche? How are you going to market? What's your marketing plan? And so these guys, I shouldn't say guys, these people go out there and they chase the passion so much, and then they get a booking from it and they make money, and they're like, okay, I can do this full time, but they don't have a plan of action. And I think that's the most self-destructive part of the entertainment business, is that they're going after that bright, shiny light, but they don't see everything else that has to be taken into consideration. Like, there's going to be a point to where, you're going to hit a wall and you're not going to know what to do because you didn't plan, so you have to be able to understand this is a business and here's the steps you have to take. And then you have to share those with the people that you love that are going to be there behind you, so.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the biggest advice I can give, because I don't think a lot of people take it seriously.
Okay, so one thing that I wanted to do today is draw your attention to this, the world's most dangerous card trick. Now, this is by Mario Morris, who is a really great guy. He runs the school of busking, and he is one of the top street performers in the world. I'm hoping to have an interview with him on Talk Magic at some point. And this is his closing trick. As it says here on the back of the packaging, Mario Morris has been performing this trick over a decade. He uses it for his commando-style street show, packs small and plays big with a huge cliffhanger finish. And that's absolutely true, 100% true. What it is, and the reason I'm actually reviewing this now, is simply because I've had so many people ask me. I've had variations over the last few weeks of, could you review the world's most dangerous card trick? Or, what's the trick that I saw a magician do where he used a bear trap to find a person's playing card? This is probably what everyone's been talking about. So this is the world's most dangerous card trick. First of all, as you can see on the packaging, it is 18 plus. The effect is, and I'm going to do a Magic Live on this later on this week, because I've been doing this for a very long time. The idea of this trick basically is that you show a bear trap and you have a card picked. The card is picked, signed, lost in the deck, and you bring out this bear trap and you show it's real. A lot of the time people will get pasta and put it in there and they see it, smash it all into bits. It's very, very edge of your seat type entertainment, right? And then what you do is you open it up, you very carefully put the pack of cards in there, trigger the bear trap, and then what you do is you explain to the audience that you're going to reach into the bear trap and grab their card before the bear trap breaks your fingers. And then you do just that. You reach into the bear trap, you pull out the card, it's their signed card, and that's the end of the trick. It makes an incredible closer. And I think that's something that's really important to note about this. Closing routines are hard to find. Routines that are really strong closers, they have to really kind of get the attention of every single person in the room. And this does this and then some. I think it's one of the reasons why I've seen so many people use this to close their show. I was in Covent Garden recently and I saw Nathan Earl, and he performed this and did a fantastic job of it. In fact, I do a show with Steve Deller called Phantasmagoria, which is kind of like magic versus mentalism. And in many of the Phantasmagoria shows, Steve Deller has actually performed this live as part of the show. It's got danger, and it really does have people hanging on the edge of their seat. You know, it's one of those tricks where the prop is so well made. I mean, you look at this, and this is, to all intents and purposes, a bear trap. I mean, it looks lethal. It really does. And the other thing is, everybody knows what a bear trap is. Everybody knows what they do. Everybody knows what it's designed to do. Everybody knows that once this is set, if you put your hands in here, you are going to be in big trouble. And everybody knows that a magician uses their hands in order to make a living for themselves. So they're literally putting their career on the line. In that way, it's very similar to smash and stab, right? Except the only difference is with this, it's a skill-based trick. You're talking about how you've been practicing and you can reach into a deck and pull the card out before the bear trap closes. Whilst with smash and stab, really, well, there's many different ways to present it, but it's a luck or influence or coincidence or whatever the case may be. So first of all, it looks lethal. Second of all, it's something that everybody can relate to. But third of all, you do the right presentation for this and you can literally have people hanging off the edge of the seat. How I used to use this many years ago, I don't use it this way anymore, but I still use it. And by the way, I used to do this in virtual shows all of the time. How I used to do this is I used to introduce it at the beginning. So at the very beginning, I'd actually introduce this. I'd put it to one side. And let's say I was doing a half an hour or 40-minute show. Throughout the show, I'd be bringing this up and I'd be saying, now this is going to be the big finale. This is going to be the big finish. And I'd do the whole show. And at the end, I would bring this out and I would do this. And the reason for that is you can't really close on anything else. Once you've done this, and what you're going to do, make the card magically come to the top of the deck. Anything that you do after this is kind of immaterial. So you can get it directly from Mario Morris. His website is www.theschoolofbusking.com. That's www.theschoolofbusking.com. Be careful with it. It is dangerous. You know, it says here, do not to be performed for anyone under 18. It is a dangerous routine. It's safe in many ways, but at the end of the day, you are putting your hand into a real bear trap. So that's something that you need to bear in mind. I'm going to be... Shut up, Jack. I am going to be performing this on the channel a little bit later on this week. So look out for a magic live of this, just so you can kind of see exactly what it is. And if you want to, let me know down below if you'd like me to go out and get some live performances of this. I used to do this in restaurants. I used to rock up to a restaurant table, put it down, and do the whole thing. So if you want me to get some live performances of it for maybe a future 5x5, let me know. But yeah, I can highly recommend getting this. It's amazing. It's real edge of your seat, danger type magic, and it always packs a big punch. And packs small. That's the other thing. Pack small, plays big. It's called The World's Most Dangerous Card Trick by Mario Morris. Okay, guys, that's another 5x5 in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. We're going to be back again tomorrow and the rest of the week with a whole bunch of other videos. So make sure that you stick around. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and check out the Nettricks, www.thenettricks.com. You can try it out for a month and see what all the fuss is about. We're really popping over there right now. But one more time, thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.